Change is an inevitable part of life. Although it can feel really uncomfortable, it can bring about so much beauty in your life. Often we look at change as if it's becoming different, something other than what we're used to. But I like to look at change as experiencing all of the things that are possible in this lifetime. It makes it so much more expansive and exciting. Coming up on my 30th birthday, I am feeling those shifts more than ever. The feeling of change coming, of going from my 20s to my 30s. It feels significant and it feels powerful. So let's talk about how to navigate change well. Welcome to part 5 in my Entering 30 series. Let's talk about how to navigate change well whenever it does happen to come up in your life. Physiologically, change is actually felt as stress in the body. And that's because of all the spectrum of emotions that it comes with. When you feel like you're about to experience some change, that can feel scary, it can feel daunting and unknown. It can feel a lot like grief, mourning what was and entering into what's new. It can also feel a lot like anxiety or those intense feelings of vulnerability, because that's what it takes to step into the new. It takes being vulnerable because you are risking what might be unknown. So whatever emotions you might feel when it comes to change, just remember to normalize it. All of those emotions are normal. Our brain and body are built to help us survive and stay safe, and therefore can bring a little bit of that resistance when we try to do things that are uncertain and unknown. But I want you to also remember that in order to step into your most fulfilling life, all the things you dream about being and doing and experiencing, that comes with stepping into something new. So I would love to share 4 steps on how to navigate change well, what has helped me tremendously in very big seasons of change in my life, and what I hope will really help you. Number 1 is allowing the feelings to come and normalizing them. Like I said earlier, whatever you feel, make it normal. Remind yourself that whatever you feel, there is nothing wrong with you. It is a normal experience in life to have emotions. I think the best thing I really learned was not to label them, not to say this one is good and this one is bad, because when we do that, we often resist feeling the quote unquote bad ones, and that ends up suppressing them instead of allowing them to just be released from our body. That is all that is needing to happen when those feelings that are a bit more dense come up. They need to be released. And feeling them, processing them, is part of that release process. So number 1 is let it come. Let all the feelings come, and use tools like journaling or sharing vulnerably with someone you can trust. Use tools like that to process and sort through all of those feelings. Whatever you're feeling is a-okay. Number 2 is recognize where your desire actually lies. Do you desire certainty, safety, and comfort for the rest of your life, which ultimately just means that you are going to continue to repeat what you've already experienced? Or do you desire uncertainty, adventure, and all possibilities? I want you to really think about this, really sit down with yourself and figure out what your deep desire is in life. Because if you desire more, if you desire to achieve all the dreams that you've ever imagined, then you have to lean into change. If you've ever heard of the past present loop, then let me tell you something that might just change your life. If we are always living out of comfort in what we know, we have to recognize that the only things that we truly know are the things that we have experienced, which means they're things that we've experienced in our past. So when we rely on just living in the known and in the certainty of life, then all we're doing is living in this loop of past and present, bringing our past into our present decisions, choices, steps, analysis of life, thoughts, processing, and we are never escaping that loop. We're continually staying stagnant and not moving forward because we're hyper fixated on only what we know. And that just keeps us in our comfort zone, which does not allow us to experience everything that life has for us. I love looking at change as this opportunity to experience everything in life. When you look around you and meet new people from different walks of life, different countries, different neighborhoods, whatever it may be, different backgrounds, you can see that there are billions of ways to live life. Your way is not necessarily the right way. It's just the way that you grew up knowing. And so when you can recognize that, it makes this beautiful adventure come to light when it comes to all the things that you are able to experience and ways that you could possibly live your life. So recognize where your desire really lies. Do you truly just want to be comfortable in life and not ever experience anything out of your comfort zone? Or do you really want to experience life and see what's out there and feel new things, see new things, experience new things? Then uncertainty is your pathway, and that means that stepping into change will be inevitable. So even when you get to those deep desires, it can help you to see, hey, you know what, I actually do want this. So instead of resisting change every time it comes, you can feel a little bit more open to whatever you are experiencing. Number 3 is caring for your physical body well. Like I said earlier, when you are going through change, your body is trying to adapt to this new environment, and therefore it triggers your stress response. So you want to remember that you are physically going through this change just as much as you are mentally and emotionally. And so you need to care for yourself in a way that helps the transition to just be a little bit more effortless. So ways to really care for your body when it is tapped into that stress response is to do things that promote your parasympathetic nervous system. That is the part of your stress response that brings healing, rest, and repair. So we want to tap into our parasympathetic system so that our body can finally feel like it can take a breather. So ways to do that is to rest more. Make sure you prioritize alone time. Really care for yourself in this time. Say no to overcommitting. Choose yourself. Find ways to release those tough emotions that keep coming up. These are my favorite herbs that I incorporate into my life daily anyways, but especially if I am going through change and transition, I like to amp up the herbs that are helping to support my nervous system and my stress response. Another really powerful and very accessible way to support your body through stress is to get outside and put your bare feet on the ground. This is called earthing, or is also known as grounding. We as physical bodies have an electromagnetic field. We're made of energy, so we've got an electromagnetic field around us, and so does the earth. And so when we connect the two, when we place our bare feet onto the ground, it connects us with free electrons that come into our body from the earth's surface. And these are potent and powerful antioxidants that can help our body in so many ways. It helps to reduce inflammation, it helps to reduce blood pressure, it really helps with anxiety, and it helps to really reset our body's clock, also known as our circadian rhythm, which really just helps all of our systems and organs to be restoring when they need to be restoring, for our body to fall into a deep sleep when it needs to be sleeping. And that is very much connected with nature. Think of how we go to bed when the sun goes down, and then we wake up when the sun comes up. We are very connected in so many ways. And so in order to get back onto the right rhythm, we can connect simply back with nature, and it helps our body to reset to wherever we happen to be. And number 4 is really understanding the pain of resistance. When we resist change, when we resist anything really in life, it ultimately just brings up more suffering that is self-made. When we allow experiences to be, when we allow pain to arise and don't resist the experience of it, it can flow through us a little bit more effortlessly. Now, that doesn't mean it's not painful or sucks, but it means that we're not adding onto it. Maybe you've heard before that fear can manifest illness in the body. Well, that's not entirely true. It's not fear itself that can manifest illness or disease, but it's the resistance to feeling fear. Because when you resist whatever emotions are coming up, they continue to store within your body as energy. And that energy that is dense and heavy, that is what can manifest as illness. And so what I want you to really take away from this last point of understanding the pain of resistance is that resistance doesn't remove the emotion. It doesn't remove the experience from ever happening. It simply is just suppressing it for a later time. So when you are resisting change, when you're resisting what you feel because of change, you are simply just delaying and elongating the pain that you already feel. And so I want to remind you of that, because sometimes we don't even realize how much pain we bring onto ourselves just from resisting things. When I really started to open my eyes to how much I resisted things in my own life, I was shocked because it was happening all the time. So remind yourself that resistance doesn't remove the feelings. It just delays it. And here's a reminder that I feel like you need to know if you are moving through change. If you're moving through change and it feels like you're about to snap and you just cannot handle it anymore, then let this be a sign to you that you need to rest, that you need to say no more, that you need to ask for help, that you need to cultivate more solitude, that you need to seek out experiences that bring your childlike joy, like dancing and playing games and doing something fun and nostalgic. And you also might need to ease up on the stimulants like caffeine or alcohol, or things that really just are triggering more anxiety and more stress in your experience. I have some journal prompts that I think will really help you the next time you need to navigate change well. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that this has, if anything, just made you feel more connected to yourself and the world around you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Mwah. Love you.